I'm Hank Leone. I'm the training and information facilitator for the Pennsylvania Legal Aid Network, and part of my job is to manage PALawHelp. So we're going to talk a little bit about PALawHelp today. I'm sharing this presenter role with our navigators from PALawHelp, or PAVictimsHelp actually, Mariel, Quiñones, and Lacy, Toline. Who will be presenting a little bit later about the new site, which is PAVictimsHelp, which is kind of a sub-site of PALawHelp. I'm going to start by sharing my screen. PALawHelp was originally, we originally started working on PALawHelp around 2000, so it's been around for about 20 years. It actually went live, I think, right around the beginning of 2001. It was originally funded through a technology initiative grant, a TIG grant from the Legal Service Corporation. They provided seed money for the development of the site. The TIG grant was actually obtained by Neighborhood Legal Services, who we partnered with on the site, because PLAN is not eligible to receive TIG grants because we're not an LSC recipient. A second TIG grant was also obtained a couple of years later to develop some enhancements to the site. And that was also done in partnership with Neighborhood Legal Services. Since that time, the site has been funded completely by PLAN. So for the last probably 18 years, PLAN has been fully funding the site, and I've been managing it. You notice on this slide, we have a couple other partners listed besides the Legal Service Corporation, who provided the seed money. Those are the Pennsylvania Bar Association, who also assisted us in doing outreach for the site and submitting materials to the site at the time of launch. And Pro Bono Net, which is our partner who is hosting the site. Pro Bono Net developed a template for these types of sites. And these sites are basically information sites for the general public. They're designed to provide information to lay people, not necessarily to attorneys. But Pro Bono Net developed a template and developed these sites on a number of states. And about 25 sites are hosted on the LawHelp template that we use. Let's move on to our next slide. The LawHelp template, as I said, is basically for lay people, and it's a portal for legal information. It has a number of different aspects to it. It's designed to provide referrals to free legal aid through the Legal Aid Network, and also affordable legal aid through lawyer referral service and other agencies. It also provides legal education materials, tools for self-representation, and connections to agencies who are frequently listed in the resources. The Legal Aid Provider Directory helps people find legal aid programs and other providers based on their location and also their legal issue. And as you can see here, there's a little box where people can specify where they're from and the particular legal issue that they're interested in. The Legal Aid Provider Directory also lists all the legal aid agencies or programs in the state alphabetically. The legal information topics are provided in a variety of areas. These are our main topic areas. As you can see, it's pretty comprehensive. We start with consumer and children and families, disability, education, elder law, employment law, health law, housing and shelter issues, immigration and migrant issues, public benefits, and military and veterans. And these are all listed on the homepage of PALawHelp. This slide shows not the homepage, but this is there's a listing for all of the legal topics, and this is what that page looks like. We've also just recently added two main topics. One is for COVID-19 coronavirus, which lists resources that have been specifically prepared for the coronavirus issues that have been arisen over the last few months. And these also have subtopics. As you can see, a couple of them here: employment issues, housing and shelter, and health issues. We also added a separate topic area for the PAVictimsHelp, which is a separate website that we're going to talk about later. And the PAVictimsHelp primarily deals with victims of crime. So there's a number of subtopics relating to victims of crime that appear there. People can find resources on PALawHelp in a couple of different ways. One is that they can use a search function to find legal topics. And the search function appears on every page in the search box, which is right here. And people can type in their search terms there, and then they are presented with a list of resources that directly relate to that topic. The other way to find resources on the site is to kind of drill down through the subtopics. Each main topic contains a number of subtopics, and then users can click on a subtopic. And when they do that, they are presented with a list of resources in that subtopic. The resources in the site come from a variety of sources. They come from PA Legal Aid Network programs. They come from other legal aid providers around the state who are not part of our network. They come from bar associations and other legal organizations, government agencies. We provide direct links to a lot of government sites, and also private organizations. The sources of the resources, the sources for the resources also are listed in this little box in the left column, and these actually are filters. So if you want to look at information just from the Pennsylvania Legal Aid Network, you can click on that and you'll be presented with just the resources from the network. If you want to see just government agencies, you can click on the listing for government agencies, and you'll be presented with just resources from the government agencies. The written information in the site is presented in a variety of formats. Some are specifically created for the website, and others come from the original source. These include web brochures, which is a sample of which is in the slide here on the Guide for Bankruptcy brochure. PDF documents are also linked into the site, and external web pages from bar associations, government agencies, and private organizations. The site also contains some audio and video resources on the site. These come from the PLAN network and also from other sources. And to take a quick look at these, I'm going to jump into the live site, and this is an audio resource that was prepared by Northwestern Legal Services. It's also available in Spanish and Russian. It creates a link where the audio is actually embedded right in the site. And unfortunately, I did not share my sound, so you're not going to be able to hear this. But if I click on this, that will play the audio for the recording, and there's also a transcript of the recording here in written form. And similarly, we have video resources, which again are embedded. And I'll jump to the site for that. This one here is from Philadelphia Legal Assistance. This one's available in Spanish, French, Vietnamese, and also Indonesian, which is not part of our system, so we put the link here. We have a brief explanation of what the video is, and then the video is here. Again, you're not going to be able to hear this, but I'll at least can show you a little bit of how it's embedded into the site. And it goes into an advocate discussing the issues. We also have document assembly templates built into the site. And these are built on hot docs technology. And here's a list of some of the example of some of the documents that are built in the site. I got to put a disclaimer on this though, because I got an email about an hour ago from the developer of these templates saying that a number of them are going to be disabled around January 1. And I think that's because of a couple of reasons, one of which is that some of them are built on Flash technology, which is no longer going to be supported in most browsers after January 1. But these are document assembly. They'll be good for the next couple of months at least. And let me give you, I can give you a quick look at this, although again, we're not going to have sound because I neglected to enable sound. But the notice of appeal, for example, is one of these templates. And these are built, as I said, on hot docs technology. They're hosted on PALawHelp Interactive, which is one of our sister sites in the PALawHelp network. The templates are, as I said, are hosted on that site. And what these do is offer a series of questions which users can answer to develop legal documents. I'm going to jump over there quick. Let's try to jump over there. Okay, the PALawHelp Interactive site. This is the PALawHelp Interactive site. You can use the site without logging in by just clicking here, or you can create an account to log in. The advantage of creating an account is that you can save your results and then go back if you need to complete your document at some later time. There's also a video here that explains how this works. I'm going to just jump in real quick, although again, I neglected to turn on sound, so you're not going to get the full effect of this. But we start by having to agree to terms of service. And then this is uses Adobe Flash, so we have to enable Flash. But this one is built, and right now this figurine is talking to us if I had the sound turned on, but it's basically saying what appears here. And what this is a road toward the document. And as you continue down that road, you'll be asked questions to complete, starting with your name. And as you continue down the road, you'll eventually fill in all these questions, and at the end, you'll end up with a document. That's one format. The other one, which is, and I'll show you that one too, just for the sake of showing it to you, is a divorce tracker, which is a very popular template on our site. This one is built on an older format, so it's more text-based. It doesn't have the graphical interface. This particular template has 3 different parts to it: starting your divorce, continuing divorce, and finalizing your divorce. And again, I'm going to jump in just quickly to show you what this kind of looks like. Again, we have the login option or the get started option. We're not going to log in because we don't want to keep our, and again, we have to agree to terms of service. And this time you can see it's more of a text-based interface. We start out by having to deal with some disclaimers, and this basically says this is developed by North Penn Legal Services and is public service and does not create attorney-client relationship. And we understand that. Also, it does not guarantee that you'll get a court order, and we understand that. Hopefully a user would read this in more detail, but since I'm just demonstrating it, I'm going to go through it kind of quickly. You're responsible to print your divorce forms. These are not electronically filed. That's what this one says. And it requires a lot of reading and following instructions. And you have to go through 3 different templates to get through your divorce. And this one here is just so that you understand that. And it also says it's always a good idea to talk to a lawyer. And law and court rules are complicated, and going ahead with a lawyer, you're taking a risk, and you understand that. And again, you agree that you're doing legal forms and that you agree that the information is true and correct. And then you start actually into the questions relating to the complaint. Are you involved in a divorce case? Yes or no? And then it continues on. So I won't belabor this, but that's basically how it works. You proceed through those questions. And and eventually at the end of it, you end up with a point where you can print a document. Getting back to LawHelp or PALawHelp, information is presented in different languages. On LawHelp, these are presented 2 different ways. One is that the foreign language stuff is all contained in one place. And if you click on this link at the top of every page, you're presented with a list of the languages where there are resources, and in parentheses next to the language is a number of resources in that language. So that's one way to find the foreign language material. The other way is the foreign language materials we've already seen in some of the other examples is they're integrated directly into the resource material. So again, going back to our right to unemployment, we see right at the bottom of here, it has links to the foreign language versions. In addition to legal information, as I said earlier, there's information about legal assistance. There's also information about court channels and law libraries. This information is localized. And the reason for that is if you're looking for information in these types, in these areas, such as a lawyer or court information or law library, you're going to want to know about information about resources in your area. You're not going to want to know about a law library across the state or a court across the state. So you're asked to identify your location by city, county, or zip code. And after you select your location, you're presented with resources in that area, in the location where you live. If you're looking at legal resources, you can also filter these by location. And what this does is basically remove resources that aren't relevant to you. Sometimes it's very localized resources, such as local court forms. And by filtering it by location, you're going to remove that. What this does do is leave in resources for your location and also statewide resources. And the way to do this is through this little box on the side. And basically, normally what you're going to see is this globe and set your location with a plus sign. If you click the plus sign, this drops down and gives you this box where you can enter your city, county, or your zip code. And that helps you localize the information. I talked a little bit earlier at the beginning about legal aid provider referrals. The referrals that are provided are to the legal aid network, other legal aid providers, pro bono resources, local lawyer referral programs, and also self-help centers. And again, if we zoom in a little bit here, we can see in Dauphin County, they have a self-help center at their courthouse. There's also a link to Mid-Penn Legal Services. There's a pro bono program in Dauphin County, and there's also a lawyer referral service in Dauphin County. So users are going to get links to all those different resources for finding an attorney. We also have court information on PALawHelp. This was one of the enhancements that was put in with the second TIG grant. This provides localized information about courts. And these are broken up into various categories, which are in this red box, such as about Pennsylvania courts, Pennsylvania court self-help centers, Pennsylvania trial courts, Pennsylvania special courts, Pennsylvania appeal courts, and the same kind of categories in the federal side with about U.S. courts, U.S. trial courts, and appeals courts. Excuse me. The About PA Courts section provides information from the PA Courts website, and it provides information about the structure of the court, history of the court, information about how judges are elected, frequently asked questions, and other general information. And this is intended as general kind of educational stuff about people who may not be familiar with the court system. The self-help section provides links to local self-help resources. This includes self-help centers and forums and other things that are provided, such as some counties have local offices for PFAs or for custodies. And also every county basically has a domestic relations office. So those links are also put in here. the trial courts provides links to the local trial courts. It also provides links to links from the Administrative Office of Pennsylvania Courts, which gives links to all the courthouses, all the prothonotary offices, and some of the other offices within the courthouses. Provide links to appeals courts in Pennsylvania. This includes Commonwealth and Superior Courts, the Intermediate Courts, and also the Supreme Court. The Pennsylvania Magisterial District Courts and Special Courts, again, we provide links to local magisterial districts and special courts. Special courts include courts in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh who have housing courts and other special courts like traffic courts. This also provides a link to the AOPC's Magisterial District Justice Finder, which will find district justice offices or magisterial district justice offices anywhere in the state. So that's useful sometimes if you're looking for an office from something in another county. We also provide similar resources in the federal courts. Again, these come from the U.S. Courts website, and again, provides information about structure of courts. And this also provides some forms and fee information in the federal courts. And again, this is educational material for people who may not be familiar with the court system. Again, we provide links to trial courts and the appeals courts, again, localized, although there's not that much localization in Pennsylvania because we only have 3 districts, and we are all in the Third Circuit and all under the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. We do provide links also to special courts. Special courts in the federal system include the bankruptcy courts and the immigration courts. And finally, the last piece of information that we have in PALawHelp is law library information. This was also part of the enhancement that took place with the second TIG grant, and we added information about all of the law libraries in Pennsylvania. If you go into the resource listings, again, I hit the wrong button and blacked out, but if you go into the resource listings, you will see listings for the local law library and also state law library of Pennsylvania. And then if you click on the local law library, what you will be presented is a profile of that law library, which includes information about where the law library covers, its hours of operation, often directions to get there, contact information, services the library provides, also lending policies if they have lending policies. Some law libraries will let you borrow materials, others will not. And also some services, some provide photocopying services or printouts for some printed materials. So that's kind of my overview of the basic PALawHelp site. Here's my contact information. Anybody can feel free to contact me if they have any questions about any of this. And we can also, I think, take any questions at this point about PALawHelp if anybody has any. I don't know if there's anything in the comment box.
There's not anything there currently. First, I'm going to launch the first of the 2 CLE polls. You'll have about 1.5 minutes to respond. And in the meantime, if you also have any questions or comments for Hank on his presentation, please type those in the chat box, and then I can read them out to him and he can address them. So we'll give it a few minutes. And Lacy and Mariel, I don't know if you want to go ahead and bring up your presentation while we're waiting. Okay, I'm not seeing any questions or comments, and the numbers have stopped coming in for responses for the CLE poll, so I am going to go ahead and end that. And then please feel free to begin your presentations. Hank, there's no questions or comments yet in the chat box.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I think Lacy, you're going to begin.
Oh, sorry, I guess we can't hear Mariel.
Yeah, she's not muted, but I'm not hearing anything from you, Mariel. I don't know if your headset's acting
How about
up.
now? How about now?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes, okay, then perfect. Sorry about that. Like I was saying before that technical difficulty, thank you everybody for being here. And we'll be presenting about the Pennsylvania Crime Victims Online Help Portal, PAVictimsHelp.org. I want to thank Hank for setting us up in this presentation. And I want to thank Kelly for the amazing job she's been doing for the past month and a half almost. And we're going to be walking you through the new portal that's available on PALawHelp for victims of crime. We use the term victims of crime because our grant is a victims of crime BOCA grant, a BOCA grant, but we want to be very aware of the language that we use. So we're moving from just being victims to try to promote being survivors of crime. And that's what we want to promote in this, not only in the portal, but like as we change the language in which we speak. So we'll be moving along. Like we said, the portal is PA Victims Help. I'm trying to hit. There we go. We'll be talking about PAVictimsHelp.org, resource navigation, chat navigation, and how to contact us. And if you want to collaborate with us in this project, you are very welcome to do so as well. How did PA Victims Help come to be? It's an online portal developed by the Pennsylvania Legal Aid Network, providing free legal resources to any Pennsylvania who has been a victim of a crime. Back in 2018, I believe it was, we were not in plan. I forgot to present ourselves. I will do that now. Lacy, thank you for reminding me. I'm Mariel Quiñones. I've been working with Pennsylvania Legal Aid Network since January as the VOCA website coordinator. That means the PAVictimsHelp.org. I am also one of the navigators for the live chat portal. I am here in the presentation with my other navigator, Lacy Toline. We are both remote workers for PLAN. I started in a legal aid organization in Puerto Rico, and I am currently in Louisville, Kentucky. And Lacy has been an advocate for victims of crime and other social justice causes. And she's located right now in Miami, Florida. That's why it's much more sunnier over there than it seems to be in everywhere else. So thank you for that, and I apologize for not presenting ourselves first, Lacy. And as I was saying, a brief background, the portal exists back in 2008. It was proposed to do a comprehensive website that collected all the resources and information that was available for victims of crime in one portal. And so it is a collaborative project because it includes work with a lot of other legal aid organizations, a lot of community agencies, law universities, and anybody else who has resources and information that is accessible for people and is important, or they understand that it's important for people to have. We know that supporting victims is a critical component of our justice system. So we are really aware of the importance of creating inclusive resources that are accessible to all community members. And that means accessible to underserved populations. We are all here. Most of us are advocates. Most of us have worked in legal aid for a long time. So we understand that underserved populations, we talk about elderly populations, we talk about LGBTQ and people with disabilities, amongst other populations that we can think. We know that technology won't be the end all to the breach to access to justice, but we know it's a step forward. And as long as we put the resources out there for people, it's a step forward in trying to get them in the right direction. we wanted to reach underserved populations with 4 major points. We wanted to update the resources available for victims of crime in PALawHelp. We wanted to make new updated resources, new resources for victims of crime. Wanted to add a live chat portion to the site. The live chat now runs with 2 navigators, which are Lacy and I, and we're bilingual, so we speak Spanish and English. And we also have a tool that helps us translate chats if they come in other languages. It's a mechanical translation, so it wouldn't be as natural as a translation made for us in the languages that we speak. And we have referral to other organizations, including organizations that deal with victim services that are not traditional legal aids, such as support for victims of domestic violence that are looking for safe spaces, that are looking for a plan, a safety plan to conduct their when they're leaving, and other types of organizations. It's a one-stop portal. We want it to be a non-stop portal with referrals, and we're putting an emphasis on plain language and accessibility, and including non-traditional resources for victims of crime. That means that we're not only including legal resources for victims of crime, we want to include support and other kinds of resources that may be available for them. So we're thinking of victims of crime in the most broad way possible. That means, and what can be useful for them in the broadest sense of the word. That means not only the legal process of getting through our justice system, I want to repeat myself, process, but what comes afterwards. So we're moving from just getting through it to moving forward, and that's what we want to promote with this website as well. So how do we get there? Because this is something very important. You can find us if you look for PAVictimsHelp.org, and also you can find our badge right there. You can see it. Are you a victim of crime? In the PALawHelp.org, the first site, if you log into PALawHelp, you will see this badge. Are you a victim of crime? The question, are you a victim of crime, is there, and that badge in there is particular because if the person clicks on it, it will take them to this website in particular that says, are you a victim of crime? And this, it's not here, but if we have time, we might be able to go into the detail. It has examples of what constitutes a particular, like how do I identify as a victim of crime? I don't know if I've had my identity stolen. So we took those types of crimes and developed some examples for people to try to understand if I was or was not a victim of crime. Even if they are not able to self-identify as one, they can still go to the website and they can still chat with one of us, and we will be able to guide them to the correct resources or any resources available for them. And if they determine with what they read here that they are not a victim of crime, then they're able to return to PALawHelp without any problem and search for other resources that are available to them. Now, self-identifying is important because it also empowers people to move forward, and maybe you don't have to go through the whole chat process, and are able to quickly identify that they are a victim of identity theft and find the resources they're looking for and just move forward. But if they are able to identify and still need help locating the resources, that's where our chat navigators coming, and that was a very important part of why they were part of the project. Not only that, because we know that not everybody is tech wise in following this. It can be complicated to look for resources or to look for localized county law libraries, for example. So the navigator's purposes is also to guide the person through the whole website, because it can be difficult. But this self-identification page contains a lot of examples for different types of crime. So the person who reaches this site is able to read examples, because we've gone through extensive user testing with this website, and one of the problems we encountered was that most people don't just Google identity theft, what to do. They Google, I can't find, somebody stole my ATM, or somebody stole one of my social security checks. So they don't automatically identify themselves as a victim of crime. they know something happened to them and they may have options, but they don't know what it is. So part of the self-identification page, as we call it, are you a victim of crime or not, is trying to find words and phrases that help people put themselves in the position of where they are in their particular process. I don't know if that doesn't make sense. We'll have questions at the end, so no problem. So this is the are you, yeah, this is the are you a victim of crime. So if you are there, you can click and go to PA Victims Help, and you will be able to see the portal. And if not, it will take you back to PALawHelp. Next. So we have resource navigation, and this is very similar to what Hank talked about in his presentation of PALawHelp. And PA Victims Help, we also have the ability to navigate resources in the portal, so you can choose by topic or by area. We have a list of all the topics under victims of crime that we think are useful or relevant to the persons who may be researching the portal. So in the topic area, you select the topic area that most closely represents the information you are seeking. When it has been selected, when you select a topic, it will direct you to the PALawHelp website, and you will see the resources just as Hank showed in his presentation. If you determine you want to search by county instead of by topic, you can locate the search engine in PALawHelp and enter the county in which you seek resources. You will be able to find localized resources for everything you need, and then you can look for the resources that are better able to suit your needs in that moment. So this is what when we talk about the portal, this is the main portal. This is where it takes you if you go to PAVictimsHelp.org. These are just stock pictures. This is not anybody real. And these are also examples of types of crime or types of situations where people have been victims of something, and they serve, this was an idea that we had, so people could identify themselves within these stories, and that would also help them guide and navigate through the website. Because if you see that Maria and her girlfriend Charlotte have been dating and living together, and Charlotte has been verbally abusive, then you can read more on what does that mean, what does that entail, and what resources are available in that situation. The Victims of Crime portal also has alternate languages. So if you click here, you can also see the alternate languages. Not all of the resources are translated. We are working on translating resources with our partners and collaborators. Right now, we have resources in 13 different languages. Not all of them are in the 13 languages, but 13 languages are available right now. So that is also one option. It's not here right now in this, but you will see it in another slide. It also has an exit button. So Lacy will show you that in one of the next slides on top of the website, where it will take you out and will not leave a history for people who are in danger at that moment. The bottom of the website portal has these 3 columns here. The first is legal resources, know your rights. You can go directly to PALawHelp resources, and that's what the previous slide where we talked about how to search for resources. The second column is victims compensation assistance, and it shows you more information on how to fill out the victim compensation fund, what it is, and organizations that can help you fill it out. And the PA Safe Law Helpline, they can also directly go to it. We're also listed in the PASafeLaw.org website as a partner. So they can visit here and chat or email or call directly with an attorney or that can answer direct legal questions. I think it's important to remark that we don't provide legal services in this portal. We don't want to provide legal services because we want to provide anonymity as much as possible for the people that are seeking resources, so they don't have to go through a process of qualifying for our services. So this is an attorney. This is a helpline that's available for those people that are looking for an attorney right now. See. And as you see, this is the search bar on top of it where it's marking red right now. That's the search bar where you can search for a resource. You can put identity theft and you will have resources. So these are the resources that you will have, and they will be listed in a downwards fashion. You can also click here to find legal help, and it will direct you to the legal aid organizations that Hank said, and helpful local agencies or local agencies that will also be helpful but are not necessarily legal aid organizations. To the left of the page, you will be able to click through and see what options are there for identity theft, such as court information, helpful local agencies, law libraries, legal information. So this is not filtered by county. This is just on the identity theft resource. So if you wanted to set your location here at the right, it would filter by, it would give you a localized idea of what resources are available for that particular resource. I will pass it now to my colleague, Lacy Toline.
So in thinking about how we wanted the chat navigation to go, as Mariel said, it was really important that we provide resources so people know where to go and look for help. And so we really liked this quote by Mr. Rogers, that anything that's human is mentionable and anything that is mentionable can be more manageable. When we talk about our feelings, they become less overwhelming, less upsetting, and less scary. The people we trust with that important talk can help us know that we are not alone. And sometimes in the chat, navigating through the chats, we've noticed that while yes, people are looking for resources, sometimes honestly, they just want to spill what is going on and they just need somebody to acknowledge that, yes, this happened to you. Yes, this isn't okay, but this is where you can go and look for help. And so we've been really trying to be cautious about our language and always acknowledging what happened to the person seeking resources. So essentially just the guide, like through the chat navigation, is that you could visit the portal at PAVictimsHelp.org. The live chat will be automatically initiated. If navigators are online, we work Monday through Saturday, noon to 8. A navigator will then search resources. The navigator shares the resources, and ideally then the victim or survivor or person seeking resources is connected to help that they need in their county. And so like Mariel said earlier, you'll see at the top right-hand corner, we do have an X where you can leave immediately from the portal. In addition, on the bottom right-hand, you'll see that this is where the chat box is automatically initiated. And then with, once the chat box is initiated, this is if a navigator is online, you'll notice a prompt stating that there are navigators available for help. And so you can click the chat. Either you can exit out of the chat if nobody seeks to speak to somebody, or you can start initiating a chat. There will be 3 questions that are asked. These are not mandatory. It just really helps us curate what types of resources. So we specifically will ask what county somebody's in, what age they are, and what gender they identify with. Again, none of these questions are necessary. You can still seek resources or help. It just kind of helps us curate resources for the person seeking them. Oops, I think I accidentally, sorry, Mariel.
No worries.
All right.
So we also, like Lacy mentioned, I have to go back. There we go. We are online, available to chat from Monday through Saturday from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. When we are offline, we do have a ticket option. So persons who are offline and want to leave a message can, and we will answer them, but it requires them to leave an email address. So that takes away from the anonymity a little bit more than in the chat. We user test our surveys to promote people to just chat. So we did take away from, we don't require them to give us their name. We don't collect any confidential information. We don't require any confidential information. We ask for the county for us to be able to more easily find resources that are available for them. The offline option, you can see it if you go into the website right now, because none of us are online. You can see that you could leave a message. It's basically an email thread. That's how it would work. And we do try to get back to the person as soon as possible when we are online again. So it's important that people recognize that or not recognize. We wanna make it clear that there are real people behind the chat and it's not bots, because we know that most chats are worked with bots, and there's real people that are available to help and listen. And like Lacy said, it's mostly a human interaction that they're looking for more than anything. If you hear warning, that's my dog. Whom is the portal designed for? We want the portal to be a useful tool for advocates, social workers, victims, or survivors. It's available for anyone who has questions and needs answers. It's important that we just barely launched the portal. We went through a user testing phase that lasted a couple of months. We did a soft launch in the 1st of July, and now we're doing a little bit of more outreach. So it's always going to be a working process, and we recognize there's always going to be a project that's going to be edited and constructed in such a way that becomes even more accessible at any time. We're limited within the template that we have. So within the template we work, and alongside Hank and a great team, we managed to do the best we can to make it as accessible and reachable as possible. So we're always open for feedback, questions, collaborations. If you wanted to add more resources, if your organization has more resources, ideas, information, we're always open to that, because we recognize that we can always make the portal better, and it's a tool for everybody, and that's what we want the portal to be.
So we have, so PAVictimsHelp itself doesn't have its own social media, but we're linked in with PA Legal Aid. So you can find us on Twitter at PA Legal Aid Net or PALawHelp News. And also on Facebook, you can find us at Pennsylvania Legal Aid Network. And again, if you want to collaborate, if you have questions, comments, info to share with us, we'd love to hear from you. Mariel's contact information, and then myself, Lacy, Toline, my information is listed at the bottom too. We're really grateful that you've sat through this, that you were interested in learning more about the help, and we really hope that we can collaborate and work with you all in the future.
Thank you. So if anybody has any questions or comments on anything that was presented, please type it in now. In the meantime, I will go ahead and launch the second CLE poll question box. So attorneys, if you're requesting CLE credit, please respond to that. And Hank, did you have anything else?
Yeah, Kelly, I have a couple of closing comments, I guess. I didn't really address why or how PALawHelp can be used beyond the obvious. We think it's really important that it can be used by legal aid programs in particular in a number of ways. One is to make referrals in areas where you may not be accepting cases at the current time. I worked in legal aid. I've been working in legal aid, but I worked as an attorney for about 20 years before I became the plan. And I know intake varies depending on staffing and situations in your offices and the communities. So very often you're adjusting your intake. And if you're not taking particular cases at a particular time, PALawHelp is a great resource to refer people to at least get information. Another important part of this, and I've heard attorneys tell me this over the years as I've been working on this, is that they use PALawHelp to help their clients be informed. They will very often refer their clients to resources on PALawHelp, either before an interview or after an interview, if they have contact before the interview, just so that the client has a better understanding of what the attorney or paralegal discussed with them during the course of their direct contact with them. And attorneys find that a lot of times their clients are much better prepared and have a much better understanding of the process after looking at some of those resources. PALawHelp is also used by a number of the pro bono programs around the state to help educate pro bono attorneys in poverty law issues where they may not ordinarily practice. These are, as we all know who practice poverty law, there are very specific rules and regulations involving poverty law that private attorneys very often don't know about. So some of the resources in PALawHelp are very useful for that purpose. also wanted to comment about PAVictimsHelp. I'm not sure that we mentioned that this is funded under a VOCA grant. So we are tied into the kind of the VOCA Victims Network. And Lacy and Mariel have gone through extensive victims training, victims advocate training over the last couple of months. And they are really well prepared to serve in their role as navigators and to refer people to appropriate resources. So I would strongly encourage people, if they have clients who also are victims of crime, in addition to having civil legal problems, and very often we know that happens, to refer them to that site where they can find some assistance. Lacy and Mariel are well schooled in getting people to the right place to find victim services in their particular counties. So again, I would strongly encourage people to make use of that resource, and they can, use the chat feature and get some personal interaction with the navigators, and hopefully get some help that they need. And lastly, I would just like to say that our slideshows are both have been uploaded into the conference app. So if you want to refer to any of the slides, they're available there for download. And I thank everybody for their time.
Okay, well, I don't see that we have any questions or comments. So thank you, Hank and Lacy and Mariel, for your time and for sharing this information with us today. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and I hope you all have a good rest of the day. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.